stayed. It's only over when the day is done. I never knew you was a runner, yeah. I mistook you for a son. It don't matter what we think when it's all over. 'Cause this is our last chance to leave it all behind. Raise your voice and raise your power, yeah. This is our last chance to leave it all behind. Raise your voice and raise your power, yeah.
Archie, is it fun?
Fun.
Fun.
After me. Ready? Happy?
Happy.
New?
New?
New.
Was wrong to say I wouldn't change a thing, 'cause in the story of our lives, the best of times through colored glass, time moves on enough to let me move on past, but every little now and then it creeps on back to shape my smile.
Today is March 23rd, 2026. It is to be 27 a.m. So I recorded a lot of videos yesterday and I have on Twitter. So there's a couple new things about Harry and Meghan. So I'm gonna try to avoid the war because I need to catch up with what's going on with the Sussexes, especially Meghan. So let's go on X and see what's going on. There's a lot of things going on, I'm telling you. Whew. First tweet. All right, so these are some stuff that the squad were talking about. So that was posted yesterday. You know who is proud about her Christian faith? The person you keep on hating. All right, so I'm assuming the leftovers are talking about some stuff and the squad are making reference to it. There's Meghan. I don't think Meghan, she went to a Catholic school, but I don't think her parents, her mom in particular, were Catholic. Let me pause for a second. Well, I asked Google, was Meghan Markle Christian before married to Prince Harry? Protestant is Christian, so yeah, all right. Meghan Markle was raised as a Protestant and identified as Christian before marrying Prince Harry. And I think when she married Harry, she had to convert to the Church of England. Maybe that's what I was a bit confused with, right? Let me see. So that was the thing. Yeah, she did convert. Yes, Meghan Markle was baptized and confirmed into the Church of England and private ceremony in March 2018 ahead of her 2018 wedding to Prince Harry. So what was I confused about with this? Okay. She was not Catholic, but she was Protestant. Protestant and Catholic are Christian. So never mind. I don't know why I raised that. All right. For a good little Catholic girl, how many times she's been married and divorced, right? She is indeed follow the Christian faith. I mean, okay. I don't even want to go into detail of this. With what Prince Andrew have done, there's no one can top this, okay? No one can top this at all. There's no comparison. Oh my God. Okay, so this is what I wrote. Girl, woman, boy or rat, deranger, pedal protector, whatever you are, please. You have absolutely zero argument in that department in comparison to the leftovers in the UK. There's this. And I put this. Alright, so these people, unbelievable. And there's some other responses here. Are you serious judging Meghan when Charles, head of church, was cheating left and right and is married in the church? He is married to Camilla with a civil ceremony. I'm laughing at you. Charles should have married that woman, but Faith, you have... I mean, this woman have no argument here, okay? No argument. When Meghan, from what I understand, I could be wrong, okay? Something wasn't right. Well, I don't want to go into much detail in her past, but something was not right in her previous marriage. And I've heard or read somewhere she returned the ring and she moved on. So there's no argument in that. All right, so let's move on. I don't want to focus too much on this. I have a lot to work on. Let's go to the next tweet. Come on. Okay, so there's this. Fun fact, did you know these three, Wonderwall, OK Magazine, Radar Online, are run by the same person or company? If you value your time, there's a reason it's best to block them and move on. Also, their content is almost AI generated. I don't even follow. If the squad don't talk about them, I don't follow them. So there's this here. Wonderwall, OK Magazine, Radar Online. Did they put the same thing? Was seen arriving at the Alliance Children's Right 34 Annual Champion for Children Gala in Beverly Hills. Okay, same headline. The same BS from the UK is moved over here. I never heard of Wonderwall until now. It's the lesser known of the three, but it's shown up a lot in Google searches for articles about Harry and Meghan. Who funds them? That's what I want to know. All right, let's see here. Fun fact. Who funds them? Radar Online. After a print magazine shuttered in 2008, the website was acquired by American Media, now a 360 Media, in 2008, where Dylan Howard oversaw the publication. It's the same group. They see that they could make money by writing these kind of headlines. So they create a multiple of the same. So more money for them. Let's move on, okay? I don't want to, like I said, I don't want to waste too much time on that. Okay, so this is JTB. All right. Meghan Duchess of Sussex showed up for foster youth at the Alliance for Children's Rights Gala, while Cookie Queens build buzz, real advocacy, real impact. This is how you use a platform right. Okay, so let's listen to that. 1 minute and 39 seconds.
You can tell a lot by person by where they show up, when the cameras are not screaming for attention. And Meghan, Duchess of Sussex, keeps showing up exactly where it matters. Let's talk about it. At the Alliance for Children's Rights, Champions for Children Gala in Beverly Hills, Meghan stepped into the room with sincerity and warmth. She was there to support foster youth. She was there to celebrate community leadership. She was there to honor one of her closest friends, who has dedicated years to protecting and uplifting vulnerable children. That is real advocacy. At the same time, her creative work continues to expand in meaningful ways. The documentary Cookie Queens is gaining momentum in the festival circuit. The film follows young Girl Scouts navigating ambition, pressure, and confidence while chasing big goals. It's a story about resilience and early leadership. It reminds people that empowerment can start young and grow into something powerful. This is how influence becomes impact. Meghan is not just attending events. She is investing in stories. She is helping create platforms that amplify young voices. She is using visibility to build opportunity. There is grace in how she moves. There is elegance in how she shows up. And there is heart behind the work. And when you step back and look at the bigger picture, the through line is clear. Service, storytelling, community. And that's the read. This is the Notorious JTB, notoriously opinionated, signing out.
I guess he did several videos using on the same day, because I have another video of him with the same shirt. Alright, yes, Meghan Sussex showed up to exquisitely support her dear friend Kelly Zephyr unapologetically and beautifully. I love that for both women. Both women were looking succinctly lovely. Bravo. Alright, this is small. Okay, much better. Performance, she looked absolutely desperate. Desperate? Oh, please. I don't even need to finish with that. Whoa! Oh my goodness. Are you an Omid lover? Okay, the Derangers are here. Don't you see how ridiculous you are? Okay, there they are here. She opened suitcase on game show. Well, that was paying her bill. Alright, so I took a while. So this is what okay, I'm responding to this. She opened suitcase on a game show, did some zealous acting, and married to a dumb prince. But all of this, they're making money.
Travelers will be in New York for. Today we are a $3 trillion coalition.
Married to a dumb prince.
Today we are a $3 trillion coalition.
Zealous acting and married to a dumb prince. But all of this, they're making money. Other than that, she's just a desperate, fame-hungry grifter. Alright, episode, I think, did some of them, oh, wait a second. Oh, I had to undo a couple things. Alright, so this is what I respond. Well, that money was paying her bills. She wasn't taking taxpayers' money to cut ribbons. She was earning and making a living. 34 episode, $800 per episode is equal to $27,200. Not bad at all. I don't know what you're trying to prove, but highlight her work ethic and how she was earning her monies and make her millions. Let's add this. Or become a millionaire. And so I had to delete some stuff. Alright, so let's submit that. And then where is that one? Block it. I need to move on. Alright, so these are the rest of the comments. Alright, so let's go to the next one. And they all over all the content about her. This is a disease. This is a disease. You know what I'm thinking? Let me not go into politics. Okay, next tweet. It then occurred to the firm that by making the Sussexes the center of their royal universe, the leftover royals will become background characters. New. The royals lost the crowd while the media fought the Sussexes. Alright, so there's that. I'm not gonna go into it. Okay, so there's the screenshot. This is it bigger? This is all a problem entirely of the firm's own making. It could have faced the Andrew problem head on years ago. I did say that in some past videos, like the politics videos. Instead, it poured its energy into attacking Harry and Meghan in order to shield him. To this day, entire news cycle revolve around the Sussexes, even though they left out Sewage Isle 6 years ago. It then occurred to them that by making the Sussexes the center of the royal universe, the leftover royals will become background characters. I don't know how much the communication team at Kensington Palace is paid, but a first-year media student could have told them that the way to build affection and a public profile for a brand or a store is to get coverage about them out, not to constantly talk about a rival. Okay, Beyonce doesn't publicize a new album by pouring money into keeping Taylor Swift in the headlines. Of course, I understand that the firm's priority was to keep the spotlight off the whole Epstein royal scandal, but they forgot they had their own album to sell, as it were. That's a very good point. All right, the British family vendetta against the Sussexes, fed by the complicit British media hacks for hire, has been a spectacular own goal and only served to diminish already unpopular monarchy. Meanwhile, Harry and Meghan prosper and grow. All right, that's true as well. Let's go to the next tweet. No more comments. Okay, so there's this. Anonymous sourcing becomes not only convenient but essential. Speculation is presented as reporting, then cited by other outlets until it acquires the appearance of fact. Yeah, they usually start with a minor, or could be a bat. You know, they usually are the bats. They have multiple accounts. And then one of them will pick it up and then they spread it. And then they will say it didn't come from them. They will have the source, which is the bat, to start the talk, the gossip. Okay, a very good read about dying newsroom and the chase for clickbait, exemplified by Meghanomics. Media layoff exposed the Meghan Sussex smear economic. There's that. I'm not gonna go into it. Let me just focus on X. This week was a commission campaign that was rolled across Pensick Media Group. We saw them do these things during award season too. I'm seeing some commission this morning, so something is going on that her team needs to get to the bottom of before it get out of hand. Okay, see, I wasn't online that much, so I don't know. Sadly, there's very little. Well, I was somewhat online, but different focus. I was focusing on different things. Sadly, there's very little they can do if news outlets are going to hide behind anonymous sources. There's been 2 big stories recently about publicists' commission to plant stories and start online chatter. The issue with Meghan is folks are too aware of the online hate campaign, so someone with pull has gotten the trades involved. Who benefit from this? I can think of some who do. You know something? Right now, the way the U.S. is, the kind of government that we have right now, we just have to let it go through. Let's see how we vote, because there's no reason for Meghan to fight it. All right. Thank God many of us already know the tactic. We just don't click on their nonsense. But once we have a better administration, hopefully, I'm crossing my fingers, we do get to it, because they're trying not to get people to vote, to keep people out of the voting booth. So let's just hope people's mind are they see what's going on, so they could vote the right way, so we could get a decent administration to get to the bottom of it. Right now, forget it. All right, here's a good deep dive that was done after the Senators hit piece on Pence. All right, so that's a TikTok video. All right, let me play it. Screenshot. What is that? Okay, let me pause. I can't believe this. I thought I was recording, so let's start all over.
This 46-year-old owns almost all the entertainment media, and you've never heard of him. Let me just scratch the surface. He owns Variety, Hollywood Reporter, and Deadline, so that's the big 3 entertainment news. He owns Billboard and the Billboard charts, Rolling Stone, WWD, Footwear News, IndieWire, Vibe. He also has a 20% stake in Vox Media, which owns all of these properties. Those are just publications. He also owns a bunch of experiences like the Golden Globes, the Country Music Awards, the American Music Awards, South by Southwest, the Billboard Music Awards, So You Think You Can Dance, and the Streaming Awards. He doesn't want you to know who he is, but that's what I'm here for. The first thing you need to know about Jay Penske is that he's a big and an asshole. He's the type of person who would be drunk in the parking lot of a Nantucket yacht club, urinate on a woman's boots, grab her, push her, and allegedly yelling, "You're not white enough" at the woman. Shortly after that 2012 incident, Penske bought Variety, apparently for the purpose of shutting down the story, and we didn't see his mugshots until earlier this year. He's also the type of person who would purchase a 100-year-old black church and displace his congregants, but he can build a mega mansion. Clearly, people were upset about it, and he did it anyway. And now that he's recently divorced, he allegedly was engaging in pay-to-play for the Golden Globes. Apparently, he decided to pull out. This seems like fake news, but we'll never know because he owns all the publication responsible for covering that sort of thing. That wouldn't be the first time he pimped out the Golden Globes. As independent outlet Puck News reports, they were charging low 6 figures to try to have a dinner with the voters for the Golden Globes. You probably never heard of this because, again, Penske owns everything. You know you're corrupt when a publication you own runs this headline. And that's still not the end of all the Golden Globes drama. Penske just added a podcasting category to the Golden Globes, so now far-right podcasters might be able to get a shiny trophy. You got people like Ben Shapiro doing a Times Square buyout to get an FYP for his nomination. But none of them were selected. They're crying foul even though no political podcast of any ideology made the top 6. Oh, and by the way, Jay Penske owns the metrics to even determine which podcasts were eligible. And if you're wondering where the DOJ is in this, they investigated for antitrust and of course Trump's DOJ approved it. Here's Penske's dad, Roger, billionaire racing tycoon, receiving the Presidential Medal of Freedom. I know, what a snooze fest. As New York Times reports, Penske has the power to select the winners and losers in Hollywood. Hollywood saw that Ryan Coogler was going to get the rights to Sinners back in 25 years and lost their minds. So he immediately became public enemy number 1 in the industry. And that is the reason why Penske Media has been attacking Sinners. Pretending like 60 million opening weekend wasn't a big deal. And not even included on Rolling Stone's top 20 films of the year. Despite the fact that it was critically acclaimed by both audiences and critics. I bet you can guess which movie made Variety's list, not once, but twice in the same article. That was a lot of information to pack in 3 minutes. I hope you have a happy new year. Enjoy the ball drop.
Alright, so that's that. Alright, so that was good. Yes, I tweeted that back in January and then I tweeted again because of the Variety piece. People need to know how bad media consolidation is for independent voices. Chase for clickbait, over integrity fuel rise of mediocrity and government institution and business. Alright, and play a huge role in Brexit. Totally unforgivable to treat an economic well-being of an entire nation as clickbait fodder. Yeah, that's sad. This is I don't know how we're gonna fix a lot of things that's going on. It works so well in the UK, so they transfer it over here in the US. Okay, next tweet. Deranger actually tried to disparage Meghan's gown. She's one of Vogue's best dressed stars of the week. They will never learn. Alright, so there's that here. The best dressed star of the week. I define simplicity. There's that. Both of them actually. Very simple. Oh Lord. No mention of the Green Monster, aka KKK then. Maybe a flight attendant. She has no desire to be queen. She has a real life. She doesn't want to be underdog. Vogue must have gotten a call. By now, we should forget about these articles. Those papers. They're just playing with people. It's a game to them. Alright, so this is where the real news started. This is what makes me decided to do this video here. Alright, I'm gonna read this once and I think I have it retweeted in different places. I'm not gonna read it again. Alright, they were busy making noise about her gem and Netflix. She was quietly trademarking her business quietly on another continent. She's outsmarted them 2 years in advance. Let's see here. Meghan filed 12 as ever trademarks in Australia in 2024, long before their trip this April. So this was, on the 21st. In September 2024, long before the Australia trip was announced, long before the Variety investigation on the Bauer book and the Instagram unfollow story that was not an Instagram unfollow, Meghan filed for as ever trademarks in Australia. 12 of them, covering candles, skincare, gardening, dog treats. Oh, there's dog treats as well. Clothing media, including books and television, event planning, home decor, jewelry, stationery, food products, and hospitality services, and the nature of provision of food and drink. Very interesting. 12 categories filed quietly, granted by the Australian government's IP department, sitting in the public record where anyone could have found them at any point and at least in the last 18 months. This is what genuine brand building looks like, not the reactive scramble of someone whose moment has passed, not the desperate pivot of a person whose business is collapsing, the systemic, legally grounded, internationally structured protection of a brand that was always intended to be global. You do not file trademarks in 12 categories across an international market because you are failing. You file them because you are planning, because you are thinking several moves ahead, because you understand that intellectual property protection is the foundation of any serious consumer and brand expansion, and that you need it in place before you arrive, not after. That's a very good point. The spokesperson response when the filings were discovered was interesting and worth examining honestly. They said the applications were filed in 2024, which predate the current work on Australia, and therefore they are not aware of them, which tells you something important about the scale of the operation Meghan is running. The trademark filings happen at a corporate level, executed by the legal and business affairs team responsible for protecting the brand globally, independently of the communication and scheduling side that manages trip announcement and tour planning. That is not this organization. That is a business large enough that its legal infrastructure and its public relations infrastructure operate on separate tracks. All right, so if I come across this again, I'm not gonna read it. There's no comment. Let's go to the next tweet. Okay, so there's that. Meghan Sussex has secured 12 trademarks for her lifestyle brand as ever in Australia, according to records from the Australian government IP department. The application was first filed in September 2024 and approved it in June last year. All right, so I'm not gonna click on it. That's a Sky News thing. I don't get what the bombshell about Meghan getting trademarks, which will be essential to protecting her brand within different countries. Why is a standard business practice being labeled bombshell? My God, these people are insane. The typical headline where Meghan is concerned. Why is that an ad? No, it's not. They've also got UK trademark. Okay. So there's that search. Your search found 7. Okay. 2023. As ever. Okay. There's that classes. There's all of that. I don't know what these numbers represent. So it's protected here as ever. So it was filed on February 18, 2025 last year. All right, so that's that. I don't think Australia is next on her list to open shipping. Brands usually takes years to ship to Australia because it's too far and expensive. Road was only just made available here. With what's going on in the US right now, I don't think they're ready yet. I really don't think they're ready yet. It's hard to say, but it's best, like the thing that I read, that to get yourself prepared. All right, with tariff, with what Trump is doing, it's too much. All right, there it is again. I'm not gonna read it. All right, Meghan is heading down under and getting her trademarks in first. There's that. Oh, there's JTB. Breaking Meghan's as ever vintage Napa Valley Brut review. Let's see here. When was this? 10 hours ago. All right, let's see here. Pause. Tasted Meghan as ever vintage Napa Valley Brut last night, and the first word was buttery. Same rich smooth vibe I remember from Vieux Le Croix La Grande Dame. One cost about $200, the other about $89 luxury bubble. Without the luxury stress, honestly, obsessed. Okay, so let's listen. I have no clue about these. If they were out, I don't know. So let's listen.
Okay, let's talk about something luxurious, sparkling, and honestly, a little bit iconic. Because last night, I finally got to taste Meghan Duchess of Sussex's as ever vintage Napa Valley Brut. With my best friend, of course. I let her try it first. She took one sip and paused. And the first word out of her mouth was buttery. Now, full transparency, she's not a Meghan stan, but she appreciates luxury and quality. So after her comment about the vintage Napa Valley Brut, I literally started laughing because that was the same exact reaction I had the very first time I tasted Veuve Clicquot's La Grande Dame. Same energy, same rich, smooth, creamy texture. The elegant, buttery note that just glides across your palate. and instantly makes you feel like you should be sitting on a vineyard terrace somewhere at sunset. So when I finally took my sip of Meghan's vintage Napa Valley Brut, I already knew what was coming. And yes, it was buttery. It was refined. It was genuinely delicious. It had that polished, celebratory feel. The kind of sparkling wine that turns a random night into a core memory. Now, here's where things get really interesting. Because La Grande Dame is iconic. It is luxurious. It is also around a $200 price tag, depending on where you find it. Meanwhile, Meghan's vintage Napa Valley Brut is coming in at around $89. And the tasting experience feels incredibly comparable. Same sophistication, same indulgent mouthfeel, same sense of occasion in a glass. So if you love elevated bubbles, but also appreciate a smart luxury moment, this feels like a discovery. A very chic discovery. Because finding that level of quality at that price point is exciting. It felt celebratory. It felt intentional. It felt like the kind of bottle you open with people who matter. And honestly, that is what great sparkling wine is supposed to do. And that's the read. This is the Notorious JTB, notoriously opinionated, signing out.
All right. So I'm cutting down on my drinking, so most likely I will not be buying these. I've cut out on a lot. Okay, you are making me so jealous. I can import it to Canada. I bought a jar of her raspberry preserves just to be supportive. I figured it will just be another raspberry jam. It was actually really damn tasty. I ordered a bunch more. It's Napa, so I'm sure it is good. Spanish canvas are far more affordable. Delighted to hear you take on it. I can't drink it myself, but it will make a great gift choice. Since when did Meghan become a vintner? Well, hey, that's business. She knows what she like. Well, from what I've learned from the squatters, let's go back. So there's this. Forget that. She has always 2 steps ahead of you idiots in the UK media. Bravo, Meghan. Okay, they're talking about the trademark. From what I've heard from the squad regarding Meghan with Tiggs, she was always about that. I don't know. All right, next tweet. Meghan Sussex has secured 12 trademarks for her lifestyle brand as Ever in Australia, according to records from the Australian government IP department. The application was first filed in September 2024 and approved in June last year. All right, so Sky News is talking about it. Okay, I don't get what is the bombshell. Okay, did I put it twice? I think I did. All right, so this is twice. Let's go to the next one. Okay, is that Taste Meghan as Ever event? Okay, I put it again. Next tweet. Oh, I just put that on the list. That's what it is. Next tweet. Okay. When you look this good, you don't need to cover yourself. It's stolen artifacts to stand out. Her ageless skin, million megawatt smile, angelic personality, but most importantly, her inner beauty is all that she needs to win a competition she didn't even know she was part of. That is true, Meghan. Yeah, there's that. Lovely and confident, she doesn't need 20 pounds of stolen blood jewelry to shine, feel important, or be relevant. Showing up, doing good, supporting great causes and loved ones. Alright, pointing up. Princess Meghan looks flawless. Nothing good about her. She's alright, but you here. Alright, totally agree. Let's go to the next tweet. That's the only video I think I'm gonna do tonight. The others are mostly about politics. Am I done? I think I'm done with Meghan. Okay, she's right. We have it all backward. IG, what is that? Alright, let's see here. What is she saying? 51 seconds.
The biggest lie sold to our generation was that leaving your family made you free. This is how they dismantle the family unit while convincing everyone that it's freedom. For decades, kids were told the same thing. Leave home at 18, be independent, stand on your own. And it was sold as success and empowerment. But look at what it actually created. One family living together becomes 5 separate households, 5 rents, 5 utilities, 5 car payments, everyone paying for everything alone. Add student debt, and many young people start life already drowning. Meanwhile, families that stay together can share costs, build businesses, create generational wealth. And when the family unit breaks, every generation starts to zero again, financially, emotionally, and spiritually. And once that village disappears, everyone is left trying to survive alone.
I think sometime this topic, I think I raised it in one of my videos a couple years ago. I mean, we talk about so many topics usually popped up when I read those tweets. I think I even bring Asian cultures where they stay to take care of their their parents and things like that. I don't know. I guess now some people are waking up. I don't want to go into that. You could pause and read these if you want to see more. All right, so there's that. All right, let me go grab the next tweet. All right, next tweet. I'm telling you, a lot of topics usually come up when I'm doing those videos. Okay, so this one I saw because it was her from Colombia. Remember when Meghan and Harry went to Colombia? I think she's vice president. So I don't know what she said. I don't know if it's in English or Spanish, probably in Spanish. So I thought I'd share it with you. Colonialism did its job of isolating us. Speaking at the CELAC Africa Forum in Bogota, Colombia, Vice President Francia Marquez called for stronger Latin America-Africa ties, saying closer cooperation could boost economic growth and challenge colonial legacy. If there is, how do you call oh yes, there is translation, I'll enlarge it.
Es una necesidad conectar nuestras regiones. Siempre nos hicieron creer que estábamos muy lejos, pero en realidad estamos cerca. Como lo dije ayer, el colonialismo hizo su tarea de aislarnos. Avanzar en este propósito de una conexión birregional África, América Latina y el Caribe pasa por erradicar las trabas mentales que nos impuso el colonialismo, de vernos como lo negativo, como que entre nosotros no tenemos nada que ofrecernos, como que entre nosotros no hay nada que se puede hacer, como que no vale la pena trabajar entre el sur global para ofrecerle salidas posibles al mundo, a este mundo lleno de complejidades.
All right, so Francisca Marquez calling out colonialism isolation at the how do you pronounce it? What does that stand for? CELAC Africa Forum hits deep. Latin America and Africa linking up to challenge that legacy is real. Economic cooperation outside Western control is the move. That's geopolitical shift energy right there. I agree with the vice president here. Colonialism laid the groundwork for fragmentation, but today's reality is a mix of history, economic, politics, and global power dynamics. The encouraging part is that conversations like the CELAC Africa Forum suggest new pathways. South-South cooperation could be one way to finally undo some of that isolation. Prior to colonialism, to what extent and in which form was Africa and Latin America connected? Let's see, there's to comment. Okay, both have human and we are all related. After colonialism, the link is now direct and closer than ever. It is undeniable and part of joint history. Congratulations, you completely missed the point. Okay, I don't know. All right, so I thought I'd share that with you. That's a very good thing. And look what Trump is doing. It's like attacking every corner of the world. Cuba, Greenland, this and that, Haiti. So yes, they need to be connected. All right, next tweet. But what is this?
The Israelis.
Okay, so I have two more. I'm gonna mess up this video here by adding this type of videos here, and then that'll be it for this video. The Israel are scared that Trump is going to get fed up and walk away. Yeah, they're fighting here very hard, people who live outside of the US, to prevent the election to go the way that the people of the United States wanted. All right, the racist will be racist. All right, Matt Frere warns, who's that? Henry Riley, that without America's help, Israel will find it difficult to take down the resilient Iranian regime. Now Israel is targeting Lebanon and different places. If you saw at the beginning of this video, the tweet that was on my screen, it's Israel who's attacking different places. They're not focusing on Iran. Okay, they're sending bombs different places in the Middle East. So they have a goal. Their goal is the Middle East. Okay, to take Middle East. While there's disarray, they know they cannot fight Iran, so they're taking down other lesser countries while they're in the midst of it. I don't know. They must have a plan. But let's listen to this. It's almost a minute, and then I'll go to the next tweet. Okay.
The Israelis are now using this new and scary range of Iranian missiles to say, look, it's not just us who are fighting this war. You're in this too. This could also be existential for you. These missiles could hit Paris or Rome or Berlin. Now, there's no suggestions that they could, and if they were on their way, they'd probably be shot down. But what I sense in this is that the Israelis are scared that Trump, because people aren't coming to his help, and because what started as a war of choice is now a war of necessity on the economic front, that Trump is going to get fed up with this and might just walk away and then leave the Israelis to finish up. And that would be very difficult for them to do alone, because the Iranians have shown that they're actually rather resilient, and the few missiles they've got left, they can fire quite effectively to spread terror and to remind people, to remind the world that they have some kind of, they have agency in this fight that was supposed to be over within a couple of weeks. The Israelis are now
playing over. Israel tried to get NATO get involved by attacking. I've spoke up. Go look at some of the politics videos that I've put out already. I know many of you are not watching it, but it's worth to document it. I wish I had done that at the beginning of what they were doing to Palestine. I did. When I first started seeing where they were poking at Palestine, I should have recorded them, so I could have them. I let it go. I didn't think it was gonna escalate to what it is now. All right, so that's that. Let's go to the next one, and this will be my last video. All right, so let's see here. The Republicans are finally reading the SAVE Act and finding out that the red states are the ones where the SAVE Act will end up hurting the most, since they have the lowest passport ownership. I mean, the red state, they don't even have money to pay their rent, to buy food. Where they gonna buy passport? I mean, why will they buy passport? Passport is if you're gonna fly, go outside of the country. Before that, all they need is their ID, let's say driver's license, to go places, move around the country. But the passport is if you want to leave the country. So they don't need it. All right, let's see here. Almost a minute.
Republicans are freaking out right now and trying to defeat the SAVE Act after looking in the passport data and seeing that the top states that have the lowest amount of passport ownership are red states, states that overwhelmingly support Trump, and that this act will disproportionately affect negatively their voters. So they're trying to stop this now in the Senate. And here are the states. This is truly unbelievable. These people are something else. Mississippi, West Virginia, Alabama, Arkansas, Kentucky, Louisiana, Tennessee, Oklahoma, Indiana, and South Dakota. Those are the top states with the least amount of passport ownership. And much of it is because of the median incomes. They can't afford them, and they don't do a lot of...
Oh, I would love to hear more of him. Okay, so that's that.
Republicans
let's
are
pause.
freaking out.
Is it continue? Bring it on, SAVE Act. Okay, lowest passport ownership rate by state. There they are here. There's the list. All of them voted for Trump. Okay. So please take a moment to subscribe, like, and share. If you want to support this channel, there's a PayPal link and a Cash App link in the description. You could donate. Those who have donated, thank you. All right, so that's it. Thanks for watching.